Well, the time has finally come for me to put together this little video I've been promising you guys for a long time about really some good points and tips for how to measure snow as accurately as possible. There are some places you measure, or a lot of you may be measuring, that aren't so accurate. So we want to make sure we get a good climatological record of how much snow falls in any given one location. That's good for helping us make better forecasts in the future. It's also good for us to track how things have gone in the past. So with that in mind, before I go outside, if you notice I'm a little scruffy today, I am on vacation, as you all remember. So when I'm on vacation, sometimes I don't like to shave. So I haven't been spending too much time blogging. So let's go ahead and head outside, take a look at a couple of things. Obviously, the first thing you need to have is a ruler. Now, there's no hidden message in the fact that I have chosen a 36-inch yardstick ruler here. It's just the one I happen to have, and it's easier to hang on to. So as I look around, this is my backyard, and I do have a deck, which makes things a little bit easier because really could use anywhere up on the surface here of the deck because the air does get underneath it and allow the deck surface to cool enough so that the snow will accumulate pretty quickly without having to worry about it blowing off or melting on my deck surface. But one thing you do have to be careful of is how close to the house you are. You can see my house is right here, and I do have a two-story. I don't want to be too close to the house. Now, normally I think they like us to be about 25 feet out. My deck doesn't go quite that far, but it goes far enough. I've got a tabletop up here, a patio table. You can see the air can get underneath it real well, so when the snow starts to fall later tonight, it will stick and start to accumulate pretty quickly. And it's big enough that there shouldn't be a whole lot of problem with blowing and drifting on here. Plus, it's on the north side of the house, which in turn means that any wind that's blowing in from the northeast will take any drifting in the other direction. So really, this is a good spot to go. So if you have a kitchen table or a deck table, a patio table, something like this is a great thing to have out if you want to come out here and do your snow measuring. So I'll come out here later tonight when it starts to snow, stick it in there, and where will it end? Somewhere in there maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Now, I know a lot of you like to go out and just stick it out in the grass. I'm going to show you why that's not necessarily a good idea. Because when you come out here, whoops, into the grass, you'll notice that there's fluff in the grass. And when the snow starts to fall, it doesn't fall through it. It sticks on top of it and mats it down. And in fact, if I stick the ruler in here, you can see that without even doing anything, I've probably got about a ½ inch to an inch of mat. I'm going to say I've got about 3/4 of an inch of mat from the grass. So if I were to measure out here in the grass, I would have to subtract 3/4 of an inch from my total in order to get an accurate reading. Now that is going to be one of my places that I measure, because when you measure snow, you want to get at least 3, preferably as many as 5 locations that you're going to measure at in order to average them out and then get your snowfall total. Now another thing I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to take this extra table that I have here, and this table will go out into the yard. And I will use this as another measuring location for my snow. So I'll measure on my table down here. I'll measure the grass minus 3/4 of an inch. I'll measure up here on my table. And that's a good start. And you know what else would work? I could measure right up here too, right here on the rail of my deck. It's far enough away from the roof, again, with a northerly wind or northeasterly wind, which is that direction over there. I'm not too worried about additional snow showing up here on the top of the deck. If anything, a little bit may blow off as a result. But that's a good spot. Now, places you don't want to. Concrete. In general, this wouldn't be too bad here because it's on the north side of the building and it doesn't get sunlight, so it's cold already. It's a cold surface. But in the front of my yard, I have a driveway, and that driveway is on the south side of the building, and that gets full sunshine all day, every day, summer, winter, fall, spring. So as a result, it's a warm surface, so it is not going to accumulate the snow as quickly. Now, one thing I want to add about measuring good places to measure and not so good places to measure would be a car. Now, if your car is what we call a cold car, that is, it's been parked outside, hasn't been used in any way, shape, or form for at least 8 hours, probably okay as long as it's far enough away from the home or a building so it's not obstructed. You're not getting any drifting snow on it or getting any blown snow off the top. If it's in a fairly isolated area by itself, you can use a cold car as one of your snowfall measuring locations. However, you have to be careful about using a warm car. In fact, I wouldn't use a warm car. And a warm car for me is a car that's been used any time in the last 8 hours. The car maintains enough heat that it can melt a lot of the snow, at least initially, as it starts to fall. When you get that, you would be getting an inaccurate measurement when using your car to measure snowfall. So there you have it. Some easy ways to measure snow and get it fairly accurate. You're going to take all those numbers from the 3 to 5 different places that you measure, average them together, then go to myfoxstl.com and you can post them there or email them to us at the station. Either way, we get the information and it helps us verify our forecasts. It also can go into the climatological records so that we keep good records of just how strong or how weak certain storm systems were. Enjoy the snowfall, everybody. I'm meteorologist Chris Higgins.